hottest topics, the latest rumors, in-depth discussions, and the biggest headlines. Your weekly WWE fix all in one place. Find us on YouTube, iTunes, Automatic, and SoundCloud. This is the Main Event Podcast with your hosts, Imran, Arif, and Raza. It's time for the main event.
We have our main event for Survivor Series. Seth Rollins
Finally
defends the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against none other than Roman Reigns. But is Reigns ready to be number one contender or even the world champion? We discussed that and much more in episode 50 of the Main Event Podcast.
So 1 minute, so we're discussing the Shield.
Minus Dean Ambrose.
No, but he was there.
He was there, I guess.
He was there on Raw.
Yeah, he's always just there lurking about.
It makes the Roman Reigns look better.
I guess, but fans don't see it that way.
No.
As always, I'm your host, Raza, and joining me this week is none other than Arif. How you doing today, my friend?
I am very well. Just looking at the River Seine in Paris. Just admiring the beauty on my background on my laptop. How about yourself?
Nice. I'm just in the Main Event Podcast studios.
Oh, well, so am I.
Not as glamorous.
Keep up the illusion.
Apologies for no episode going up last week, and apologies that Imran couldn't make it today either. Busy schedules once more meant we weren't able to get anything up in time after the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, which means I'm still the Main Event Podcast prediction champion.
By disqualification.
It counts, I'll take that.
By no show?
I'm like Kevin Owens. But we are back this week.
By any means.
Yeah, but we are back this week with hopefully some good discussion topics to dissect, so please stick around. Remember, you can listen and download on a variety of platforms and outlets. It's completely up to you where you decide to listen. Podomatic, TuneIn Radio, Player FM. If you
Do we
don't
have a preferred method?
Well,
Is there anywhere we would like to push people towards? Maybe we can say that louder, so we can be like, YouTube, SoundCloud.
well, actually, I'd like both of them to be loud, so if you could do them loud, please.
SoundCloud, iTunes, Podomatic. So you said both. I don't know which one I added.
You can say YouTube loud as well.
YouTube, so all of them there.
No, because
Jesus.
TuneIn Radio and Player FM.
TuneIn Radio.
No, not them. TuneIn Radio and Player FM as well.
It doesn't work when you go closer.
If you don't use any of those outlets, then yeah, please check us out on Deezer, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Search for the Main Event Podcast and you will find us. Or alternatively, click on any of the links in any of the description boxes.
Do you know what I've realised?
What have you realised?
We're advertising on our podcast for our podcast.
I've never noticed that. 50 episodes in.
So the people that... Is this episode 50?
This is 50. I'm gutted that reminds me. Yeah. It's episode 50. So that means you weren't listening to my intro?
It's episode 50. Where are the balloons? Where are the banners?
Imran was supposed to bring them.
Oh, where's Imran?
He's not in the basement. So, don't check.
So he's definitely not in the basement.
He's definitely not in the basement. I can promise you.
Busy schedules.
But yeah, if you do prefer YouTube, search for the Main Event Podcast there as well, and our very own website, www.themaineventwrestling.com. Click on the latest article to read a quick overview on the episode, and click play to listen. Finally, you can keep in touch with us here at the Main Event Podcast. Search for the Main Event Podcast WWE on Facebook, at TME Podcast on Twitter, and email us at tmepodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback and suggestions. Arif, do we have...
Imran's probably just swimming in emails right now.
That's probably what it is.
Probably
we'll go with that. Imran can't make it today because of your emails.
Continued support.
Thank you very much. You're keeping him busy.
Thank you, everybody.
Now then, with the usual formalities out of the way, let's get on with today's episode. I think I'll start with Roman Reigns.
Ooh, I think you will.
Last week, Roman Reigns won the Fatal 4-Way match on Monday Night Raw to become the number one contender to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and now we know he's challenging Seth Rollins for the title at Survivor Series. Is this the match we wanted? Is this the title match we wanted?
At Survivor Series?
Yes.
Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. This is a really difficult one because it could have gone one of two ways. It could have been a case of Roman Reigns having the title already, and he would be the poster boy for the Authority right now, and he would be the heel in this entire situation, and Seth Rollins might be the face, or he might be just an addition to the team. I don't know. It's a really difficult one because then on the other side, you've got someone who isn't over, who the fans don't want to see, and that is Roman Reigns right now. The fans see Roman Reigns as John Cena 2.0, and it's a really difficult situation to be put in. I would have preferred it. I would have preferred it if they'd held off on Reigns until maybe the Rumble, not in the Rumble match itself, but then winning the championship there, give him the Money in the Bank briefcase, get people used to the fact that he's going to be champion very, very soon. Whereas now he won a Fatal 4-Way after a Hell in a Cell match. He won a Fatal 4-Way to become the number one contender, and they've got 2 weeks until the pay-per-view.
Something like that, yeah.
To make him look like a main eventer, something he's not been since WrestleMania.
I can agree with most of that, but at this stage, if we take into account all of the other feuds that are taking place, is he the correct number one contender? Is he the logical choice to go with to advance storylines?
So who else is there?
It could help him, if you think about it. It could help him.
No, it could.
Another championship match.
He's going to get booed. He is going to get booed. Sooner or later, there's going to be a crowd that just boos him out of the building like they do with Cena. Like, Cena gets cheered in these small crowds. Look, they were in Denver this week.
Yeah.
Denver. And he got cheered. Where were they last week? Wherever they were last week. That's where Roman Reigns got cheered there as well. I should have really researched this. But there's going to be a crowd like Chicago or like LA possibly, or like a Manchester or a London crowd. So when Raw comes to Manchester, Roman Reigns is going to get booed out of the building.
I'll cheer for him. I mean, Roman's a friend.
What? Well, to be fair, last time he was in Manchester, I touched him. Not in a weird way.
Don't you clarify yourself? It's okay.
Just like he was walking past and I got a bit of his oil on me.
I still haven't washed the hand, have you?
No. I just reached out. He wouldn't fist bump me, so I just tapped him on the shoulder.
So what you were saying, which other feuds are going on?
Who else is there that could genuinely be number? I mean, they had to have Kane as the number one contender.
Yeah, that was my point. So people are saying Reigns shouldn't be the contender. He's too early for him. When you think about it, he's probably the top contender because everyone else is either busy.
But then that's not an excuse to push someone into that position. We saw that at WrestleMania. So who was the natural progression? It was either going to be Roman Reigns or Daniel Bryan. Now we know that the WWE out of the two was always going to pick Roman Reigns to go up against Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
But was Roman Reigns the logical way to go at WrestleMania as well? I don't think so. But for a lack of other contenders, it made sense. And it's the same thing now. It makes sense because there is a lack of people who could be there. Dean Ambrose has already been there, and we've already had main events.
We've had plenty of battles between Rollins and Ambrose.
Who else is there? John Cena's out injured. Obviously, he was in the mid card.
Well, we need
right
a top
now anyway.
We need a top face. Cena's out. I remember reading Ryback said he wanted to be the man to replace Cena, but
he's not.
I imagine that's not something fans would want to buy or tune into. Not even Rollins can make Ryback look really good.
Exactly.
That I'm struggling because my top pick right now would be Reigns.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because unless you bring someone up from NXT, which you can't do because there's 2 weeks until the pay-per-view.
Massive risk as well.
You can't develop anybody. Yeah. Unless you push someone from the mid-card, someone like Cesaro. I would have liked to see Cesaro in there. I would have liked to see the WWE say, okay, here's the ball, run with it. It's only Survivor Series. Yes, it's a great pay-per-view. You're going to have a great match against Seth Rollins. You'll come up short, but it'll make Rollins look strong, and it'll make you look strong because you'll be in the main event. That's honestly who I would have liked to see, because, look, a Seth Rollins Kane match wasn't there to sell tickets. Yeah. It definitely wasn't. The Brock Lesnar Undertaker match was there to sell tickets. It's going to be the same thing at Survivor Series. So it's going to be the Undertaker and Kane teaming up against, possibly with another couple of people, possibly against the Wyatt family, and that's going to sell tickets more than the Seth Rollins match. I guess now Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns will, but you could have put Cesaro in there and it wouldn't have had an effect on the pay-per-view as a whole. We would have had a 5-star match.
Do you think if that happened, fans would complain about the predictability because Cesaro wouldn't beat him, or do you think they'd like the fact they're getting a really good wrestling match?
But then, is it not really predictable now? It's going to go one of two ways. We either see Roman Reigns as the new champion, or we see Dean Ambrose turn on Roman Reigns. Either way, that's not where the fans want it to go, because Dean Ambrose is cheered so heavily. Just to turn him heel for the sake of making Roman Reigns a little bit more popular it's unfathomable. When you've got a diamond, you don't push it in the dirt and hope it turns into a piece of coal again. It doesn't work like that.
Fair enough. So who do you think should be challenging Rollins then? If you not who you want, we want Cesaro. We want people who we think aren't being given a fair chance. Other than Reigns, who is the top choice? But
Reza, how cool would it be if Cesaro went from the pre-show on one pay-per-view to the main event on another? That would be pretty cool. I can't think of anyone else. Who would you say? Because please help me with this.
I genuinely have no idea. Cesaro would be a top pick for people because underutilized, connecting with the fans clearly. People don't see it. I can understand why Vince isn't a big fan of him. But with Cena out, I don't want to.
I guess that's why they call you the architect, huh? The table for three was just terrible.
Yeah. Cena's out, but even if he wasn't out, I wouldn't want to see another match with him.
Can we just focus on Cesaro? I know this is the Roman Reigns segment, but
yeah.
Cesaro, very, very quickly, I think he does connect.
I think he does as well.
That's the thing. I think he connects with the uppercuts. I think he connects with the with the swing. No, but I think he has the Cesaro section. People cheer him
consistently as well.
Consistently. It started off as a joke and it's turned into this phenomenon. Just because he can't get over on the mic. Look at other people that can't get over on the mic. Brock Lesnar. I'm sorry, but he's terrible on the mic.
Oh, he's awful, yeah.
There are so many people like that don't have that charisma. Daniel Bryan, another one. Terrible on the microphone. Give Cesaro...
I think he's quite similar to Bryan, if you think about it. Fantastic wrestler. I think
Cesaro's a lot safer as well. He's a bigger, safer option as well than Bryan is, because obviously Bryan has the injuries.
Both got the fan support as well.
Exactly. Cesaro would be perfect. Honestly, give Tyson Kidd a suit, give him a microphone, and make him Cesaro's manager. And that's all you need. Cesaro, Kidd, and Natalya coming out, and Cesaro as your world champion. That would be
super awesome. Upset about Tyson Kidd. I thought we would have mentioned him. Anyway, let's focus on Reigns.
I said Kyson Tidd.
Oh, Kyson Tidd. Oh, that.
Yeah, it's a different guy.
Oh, yeah. We're aware of the reaction that Reigns received last time. He was going for the title last year. Was it the Royal Rumble? Ridiculous boos when he won, even when The Rock was there.
Even when you send The Rock out and you get booed, you know you're doing something wrong.
Exactly. He was the face heading into WrestleMania. Fans still wanted Lesnar to win. But do you think, based on the year he's had from that, he's beginning to change the minds of people? Because when you think about it, it's not Roman Reigns taking his opportunities, they're giving it to him. He's not going to say, I don't want it.
And that's the problem, isn't it? Because maybe he's not ready for it. Maybe he's not as polished as the other two members of the Shield. Yeah. He's nowhere near as polished. He came into this game a lot later than both Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, and it shows. And now they're pushing him to the moon. When you put Roman Reigns against the Big Show, Roman Reigns is going to get cheered. When you put Roman Reigns against Bray Wyatt, Roman Reigns is going to look good. But ultimately, it is too early. It's way too early.
Right.
Because he's been in two profile... I wouldn't even say high profile. I'd just say profile feuds because we know about them. One against the Big Show and the other one against Bray Wyatt. I think it's way too early.
Are the fans still being too harsh on him, though?
Yeah.
He's improved a bit. He has. The Bray Wyatt feud was good for him. Very good for him. Big Show made him look really good as well.
So, I think the fans wouldn't mind... Okay, maybe it's too far gone, but I think the fans wouldn't mind if he was in less of a main event spot, more basically don't put him in the main event of this WrestleMania, and they're going to. They're going to have Roman Reigns versus John Cena, which is the match that's going to get booed out of the building.
I can just imagine that. The biggest WrestleMania ever as well.
And everyone just leaves.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they'd leave.
No, I don't.
But okay,
if I was there, I would cheer.
I think I would as well. But for us, for the UK fans, it's different. We don't see them
of course
as often. So it's probably a different story. It's a spectacle, though. They're two of the biggest.
Do you think it's too early for Roman Reigns being in this spot now? Does it feel like there hasn't been enough of a push for him to be in the main event right now? Does it feel like a main event caliber match? Does it feel like it's going to be World Heavyweight Championship match?
I think even though Reigns is in it, I've got a feeling he won't win this match.
Okay.
I do think Rollins will win either via shenanigans again. I hope he doesn't. I hope he looks strong against Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I mean, he looked strong against Kane, but who cares?
Exactly. I don't know. I think...
What a junk match. We didn't get to talk about it last week. What a junk match.
I know. But that's the thing. The Rollins has been defending the title in matches that aren't in the main event, which is probably why this one doesn't feel like a main event either.
I don't even think it will be. It may be actually because of Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but I don't know. I do think it's too early to give him the championship, but I don't think it's too early to give him another championship match. See how he performs in a championship match, if he can handle that kind of pressure. Because I think everyone agrees if Reigns becomes a champion, he needs to be a heel.
That's the problem, isn't it? Unless he comes out the next night on Raw and turns with the authority.
Yeah. Anything can happen. But as you were saying, I do think it's too early to become champion. But right now, based on other feuds, who's available, what's right, what's wrong, I don't think it's too early to give him a championship match.
See, now I'm actually kind of excited by that prospect. If Reigns wins and becomes the heel, dominant superstar that we know he can be, and just be this cold, calculating heel, essentially, with the Authority. I think that would work better, so he comes out on Raw. Or even the Authority, if Triple H comes in and screws Rollins out of the championship, and then we don't see Rollins then until WrestleMania, and then he's the face versus Triple H. That would work. Rollins, yeah. That would work.
I agree.
We like to fantasy book here on the main event.
Yeah, quite a lot. Go back and listen to 14 hour episodes and you'll realise.
Episode 50!
I know, it just doesn't feel right without Imran though. What do you think the fans want then from...
We'll cut in his reaction now. I agree, Imran. Yeah, that's Imran. A very good point.
That's good. Oh, it was good to have you, Imran. Get out. What do you think the fans want from Reigns then? He's doing what he can.
Back.
Pardon?
I want Imran back.
Yeah, Imran had to leave, sadly. This is table for two.
Always table for two.
I can make it one.
Okay, well, I'm staying quiet. So what was the question?
What do you think fans want from Roman Reigns? Apart from a heel turn, what do you think they want from him? Which feuds? Do you think he needs to move away from the Shield attire and music as well?
No, but that's not even the problem. The problem is the fact that he's being pushed down our throats too much. It's not anything that he can do now. It's the damage is done. That's not my honest opinion. He's gone down the same road as John Cena, where he was pushed down our throats. He was forced into the main event of WrestleMania. He was forced to look good next to The Rock. Now he's trying to do the same thing with Dean Ambrose. Obviously, it's not him. It's the booking. Yeah. The booking is incorrect for a superstar like that. He needs a natural heel turn, and then to develop as a heel and start getting cheers. It's the same thing that Dolph Ziggler had to go through. The same thing, and obviously he hasn't reached the heights that we thought he could, but putting him in the main event, he would still get cheered. It's the same thing that The Rock had to go through. The Rock started off as a heel. Do you remember the Die Rocky Die chants?
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing. This is the way to naturally bring up a heel. You don't make him a face, take him to the main event straight away. John Cena did the same thing. The problem with John Cena was obviously he was too much, too soon. Mm-hmm. And it's exactly the same case with Roman Reigns. It's a shame.
Again, not his fault.
No, of course not.
If Vince came to you and said, you're going to be the face of my company, I'm going to give you this, and you're not going to say, no, I don't want it, the fans will hate me. You'll take that with both hands. You'll bite his hand off when he offers it you. So for that reason, I do think fans shouldn't be as harsh on him, but you can't help it because you can't go venting out your frustrations to the booking team because you never see him.
Exactly. What would you rather, Rizzo? Would you rather the fans cheer and chant his name but not mean it and just think, oh, well, it's okay, he's a nice guy? Or would you rather them say what they actually think?
I think they should say what they actually think, but, we get a lot of marks now who do it for the sake of it.
No, but and isn't that the problem as well? Because WrestleMania 29 or 30, when Daniel Bryan won the chance to go to WrestleMania and become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion at the time, the problem is he was pushed into that position because the company listened to the fans
for once, yeah.
And so because of that, the fans thought, okay, we can do this every single year, and then they booed when Daniel Bryan was eliminated from the Royal Rumble that year, and when Roman Reigns won, and they're going to do exactly the same thing this year, which is kind of why it's good that Daniel Bryan isn't here right now. It's good for everyone else because it means that the fans won't go crazy when Bryan isn't being pushed to the moon.
I agree. When do we think Reigns will be ready then for not the chance to contend for the championship, but the chance to become a champion?
Every month I want to say next month. When do you honestly think he's ready? Do you think he's ready now?
Now's a big risk, a very big risk, heading towards the business end of the wrestling calendar with Royal Rumble coming and WrestleMania.
Maybe this is a good time though, because right now they're suffering until January. Is it the football season's on?
It finishes early February. Something like
there you go. So until then, I mean, this is a good chance for them to put it on him and then put any low ratings down to that, and they can develop his character possibly there. Maybe then it'll be the right time, and maybe he's already got the championship by then. It's so difficult to book.
I think Reigns has more opportunities available without being a champion. As in, I'd like to see him take on The Rock, for example.
Oh, definitely.
At WrestleMania without the championship, only the championship on the line for that. I'd also like to see him in a championship match WrestleMania in a triple threat with Ambrose and Rollins.
That would be amazing to see. That would be my
Whether we get
match. Yeah.
whether we get it or not is a different story. But personally, I don't think he's ready right now. Big risk. I'd like to see Rollins hold on to it for a while. So I'm going to say your next year's Money in the Bank outright winner should be Roman Reigns, and then you have the chance to give you can give the fans a chance to get ready for Reigns to become champion. As you said, I don't think he should beat Sheamus now, but give him time. Give him a big WrestleMania match. Build him towards Money in the Bank. Make him a winner.
So would you put him in with The Rock at WrestleMania?
I personally would.
As a heel Reigns versus face Rock.
Yes, I'd go for that. I'd
give him that rub. That would be pretty exciting.
Because fans would blow the roof off the place.
Definitely.
For The Rock, and they would
boo like crazy for Reigns, which is exactly what they want.
Exactly, and then you can build him even as a heel towards the Money in the Bank briefcase. He gets it, and then fans should have no problem with him winning because they're going to boo him while he's a heel.
Exactly.
So I think not the right time to be a champion right now. Good time to be a contender, but for me, Money in the Bank 2016 is when Reigns should win and build him up.
Mm-hmm. Do you think he's too pretty to be a heel?
No, because he can look like a monster when he needs to.
That's true. That's true. But then would you book him as a monster heel? This is another thing. Because he's not really looking like a monster as a face. How would you change his character?
Don't do what Rollins is doing. Basically, don't run away from situations like that. I'd say, I don't know, you can't even get a 5-star match out of him, really, can you?
He's not like Cena in the sense that he'll work hard with his opponent if his opponent is a 5-star match type player. So Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns is never going to be as good as Daniel Bryan versus John Cena, which is strange to say.
I think they probably look to mold him off Brock Lesnar. That kind of.
He's not. He's not Brock though. There is no other Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but that's what I think the WWE will do.
It's like Imran. There is no other Imran. This is the thing. Brock Lesnar is a special attraction. Imran's a special attraction. It's exactly the same thing. And it's the same thing as Roman Reigns as well. Roman Reigns can never be. Basically, you're Roman Reigns. Imran is Brock Lesnar. Just that should say it all.
Yeah, but that's what we know. But we know what the WWE booking team and writers, creators are like as well. So I wouldn't rule it out.
And I'm Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Just the... No, I'm not going to say it. So yeah. I'm not going to say it.
It's a PG show.
Do you think Survivor Series we could see another WrestleMania 31 finish?
Oh, no, please don't. Why? Why would you...
I think we say this every week with the championship match involved.
No.
I mean, do you think it should happen? Could happen? I mean...
This is the thing, though. He's flying under the radar so much. Sheamus is pretty much irrelevant right now. He was on the pre-show. He lost yesterday on Raw, the day before on Raw, whatever Raw was. He's just completely irrelevant right now.
I've come to the realization that he's not going to drop the briefcase. He's either going to...
Well, look, if Roman Reigns is champion and we get Sheamus cashing in on Reigns winning will make me cheer.
Yes.
That's the honest truth. I don't want that title on Sheamus. As much as I don't want Reigns to be champion, I really don't want Sheamus to be champion.
Okay, so that's interesting. Do you think the fans would cheer then? Roman Reigns beats Seth Rollins and Sheamus cashes in on Roman Reigns?
I don't know, It depends on the crowd. It completely depends on the crowd on the night. If it's a smart crowd, then they will cheer Sheamus.
Will they really?
For the cash-in. Yeah. Because the cash-in itself is a huge thing. You don't know when it's going to happen. If it happens in your city, you're gonna cheer. We've seen the multiple fake cash-ins and how crazy the crowd goes.
Even with Sheamus, though, we know he has
but we've
nuclear heat.
We've seen it. When was the last time Sheamus tried to cash in? Was it?
It was on Rollins when Kane came back.
There you go. And the crowd goes absolutely crazy for it. And it's Sheamus. You could give that briefcase to anyone. You could give it to someone devoid of person. You could give it to Heath Slater, and the crowd will go crazy for Heath Slater because it's a surprise.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's a really sad thing because then people would be cheering for the worst possible thing in wrestling.
Exactly. So the fans kind of ruin it for themselves there.
Why not just give the briefcase to someone else? Bray Wyatt having the briefcase would be amazing.
That'd be the slowest cash-in ever because
exactly.
He'll just walk to the ring. I don't know. We'll have to wait till Survivor Series and see whether Sheamus cashes in. What do you guys think? Is Reigns ready for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? Is he even the right number one contender? Let us know what you think in the comment section wherever it is you're listening. Mm-hmm. Moving on, last weekend, Hell in a Cell, something we failed to discuss because we didn't have an episode last week. We kicked off the night with John Cena's United States Open Challenge for his title. A lot of names were thrown around, to be fair. But eventually, to a lot of surprise, Alberto Del Rio returned. Good reaction. Aligned himself with Zeb Coulter, went on to defeat John Cena for the United States Championship, but it's clear he's lost a little bit of steam. So with that, I have to ask, was Del Rio the right man to dethrone John Cena?
At the time for the night, yes.
So it's a good short-term plan.
Oh, definitely. For the 24 hours that it occurred, it was amazing. Even the next night on Raw as well, putting him in the Fatal 4-Way was great. And he had a great match with Neville as well. The problem is when you then consider where are they going to go with him, and he's never going to be the Rey Mysterio that they want from a Hispanic superstar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not going to be the Rey Mysterio, but he can be the face for Spanish or Mexican, maybe.
Well, not with the gimmick he's
with the current
now.
Gimmick. No.
Then turn him face. He needs to be face if he's going to do that.
I thought he was face when he returned. I was surprised.
No, he was face when he returned, but then afterwards he's a heel.
Okay.
He beat John Cena clean. Let's not forget that.
That's true.
He beat John Cena clean. Obviously, he couldn't lock in the bar because
I was thinking, it was an underwhelming finish as well, to be fair, at Hell in a Cell.
No one expected it because he never uses that as a finisher.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's good, though.
So was it a good decision to bring him back then? After what's happened with the bit of a racism scandal? I know he wasn't in the wrong there, but then he retaliated. What kind of message does that give out to other people who have done wrong things in the WWE?
And look, I think we discussed this a long, long time ago when the news first broke. Him returning is probably down to Triple H saying, look, go away for a while until this all blows over and then you can come back and we'll pay you a lot more money. And that's exactly what he's done. He's now come back, and isn't it ironic that he's in a program with an ex-racist manager who is now talking about combining and uniting these great countries?
Yeah.
And that's, I think it is, they're trying to tell a story. Let's not get away from that. They're trying to tell a story. It's just really unfortunate that Alberto Del Rio just has lost that momentum in, 7 days?
Shame. Is he worth the money? More money?
So, do you know how much he's getting paid?
I have no idea.
Apparently, so there are rumors around that apparently his actual salary is 1.4 million for the year.
Wow, okay.
And that's dollars. But in reality, he's only earning a third of that, which is the same amount he would be earning at Lucha Underground. I think it's somewhere in the middle. It can't be that low, but I also don't think it's over $1 million. That would be ridiculous. That's
true. I'm surprised when he said 1.4.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's be like one of the highest paid in the company then.
Exactly. And so I think it's somewhere in between. I do definitely think it's somewhere in between.
I don't think he'd come back for the same salary as Lucha Underground.
No, definitely not, because he would have to work infinitely more.
Yeah.
In the WWE. Also, he's the AAA champion.
Yeah.
Let's not.
So he's honouring his bookings, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Which is good. It's really difficult, isn't it?
So what's the plan for him, do you think?
It's really difficult. That's what I mean. He's going to go into a feud with Jack Swagger now, which we've seen previously, but with Zeb Coulter on the other side. Jack Swagger's going to be the face, but he's not going to get cheered. It's why bring him back if you're not going to do something really good with him?
Well, what define really good? What would you do?
Put him in a feud with Cesaro.
That could work.
That would work really well, I think. I think Cesaro would get Del Rio over. You put in Cesaro in a title match, Del Rio would be one of the best workers in the company. Cesaro is my answer to everything.
Just everything tonight, Cesaro.
You can make anyone look good with Cesaro, and that's not saying that Del Rio isn't good. Del Rio is really good, but when you put him against, he hasn't got the charisma to get over by himself. That's what it is.
I think when people in Del Rio's glory days, as champion, he was mixing it up with Cena, with Punk, and they did really help.
Not even that. When he faced Ziggler, he was getting over because of Ziggler.
Yeah.
When he faced even Jack Swagger at the time, it was because he was face, and it was this whole racism angle and Mexicans the border patrol angle and all that stuff, and it worked well because it was a real life situation that people actually cared about.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not good enough to get over by himself, unfortunately, in this industry. Not in this industry, in this company. He's fine in Lucha Underground, but he's not good enough to get over in this company.
Okay.
By himself. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
I can see where you're coming from with there. He's talented, but there are flaws which will stop him from going all the way again.
So if I was to ask you, what are the it factors that really make a superstar? What are the first things that come to mind?
I think fans nowadays appreciate someone who can genuinely wrestle. Mm-hmm. Your Cesaro, your Rollins, your Daniel Bryan.
Del Rio has that. Del
Rio's got that, yeah. I think the ability to speak confidently on the mic. Which,
so would you say that Del Rio has that?
In the right gimmick. This isn't the right gimmick. I loved Del Rio when he first arrived as this flamboyant Mexican superstar with the money.
They took his cars away.
Yeah, exactly.
They took his ring announcer and his cars away.
Exactly. Ricardo Rodriguez played an important role there.
Definitely.
But that's one thing that they took away from him, which I think would benefit him. What else? A good look. Del Rio, I don't think he's someone who can be the face of the WWE. He can be a big attraction for Mexico or Spain, just like Khali was for India. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he can be the Cena of the company.
Mm-hmm. Not like Rey Mysterio could have, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like the only thing stopping Rey was his height. He was over like crazy.
I think if Del Rio was more confident on the mic, better English, he could succeed a lot more. Mm-hmm. But there are things that are holding him back, much like Cesaro as well. Things that are holding him back a little bit. Doesn't help that he's got an average gimmick. Not even that is really bad. Mm-hmm. So for me, I don't think he's going to be a world champion again in the WWE.
And let's not take anything away from Zeb Coulter, because Zeb Coulter is one of the best talkers on the mic. I'd say he's up there with Paul Heyman in that sort of same bracket. Maybe not as great as Paul Heyman, but he's in that bracket.
I mean, at one stage, people were comparing him. They go, can Zeb Coulter be the new Heyman?
There you go.
Look how much he got the Real Americans over. Just two guys who were getting a chance. And the next thing you know, one of them ends up winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
The other one was world champion.
Exactly. And then the next night, one of them becomes a Paul Heyman guy. Mm-hmm. Things do happen like that. And you can't take anything with Zeb Coulter. Zeb Coulter, if they want him to be on TV in a bad gimmick, he's going to say, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. Because he's going to try and improve it. Del Rio as well. If he's going to be on TV, he'll have to do things he probably doesn't think are really good, which is the case now. I think once they overcome this little stumbling block, Del Rio should be okay. But as I said, I don't think he's going to be the guy he was when he left.
Honestly, turning him heel, though, this is the problem. Turning him heel when he had that momentum was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I don't think it was the right thing to do, because if you keep him face, you could have had him feud with Bray Wyatt, and that would have been awesome, or one of the Wyatt family members, and have that as a big attraction of him trying to take down one of these beasts, one of these monsters, and it would have been really, really cool. Obviously, possibly not the right time for it, because they're in a feud with The Undertaker.
Yeah.
But that's where I would have liked to have seen it go. I'd like to see, because Del Rio is quite a tall guy. He's quite a big guy, but he's quite athletic. I'd like to see him against bigger people, just so he can show that athleticism, and he's trying to break down maybe a tree trunk or something like that.
Cesaro, yes, the answer.
That is the answer. It's the answer to everything.
So apart from Cesaro, well, we're agreeing that now Del Rio is irrelevant compared to the night he returned.
Yeah, definitely.
Apart from Cesaro, who else do you think could help him become relevant?
See, this is a bit of a strange one, because I would like him to go up against Kalisto.
Kalisto would be interesting. That's one thing I wanted to say when you mentioned Rey Mysterio. I mean, they tried replacing him with Sin Cara. That we know what happened down there. Let's not even go down that path. Mm-hmm. New Sin Cara, same situation. With Kalisto, everyone's saying, oh, they've given up on him. But do you think that's a WWE's fault for putting him in a tag team?
So the tag team's fine, but they're not relevant in the tag team division.
We'll get to the tag team division in a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But I agree. Kalisto
coming soon on the Main Event Podcast.
In literally like 5 minutes, not even that.
Coming 5 minutes.
Kalisto has the ability to be the new Mysterio. That's a fact. He can be brilliant because he can speak English, and that is key in the WWE. And I think Del Rio could really help Kalisto become the top lucha star in the WWE. Whether they give him that chance and dissolve the Lucha Dragons, I think it's a risk worth taking because Kalisto's really good in the ring anyway. So it won't harm him.
So you could honestly turn him into this global icon by putting him in a feud with Del Rio for that United States Championship.
Yeah.
And
that's good for both men.
Maybe not right now. It doesn't have to be right now because I would like the end of that feud to be Kalisto being your new United States champion.
Yeah, I agree.
So this could be something that happens after WrestleMania next year. I don't think it's. I think it would be too soon to put Kalisto in a title match at WrestleMania.
That feels forced as well.
It does. It really does because he's not had that natural progression. Let him be on the roster as a single superstar. Let people get used to his moveset away from being a tag team wrestler.
Yeah.
And you could see wonders from him.
We saw in NXT in his earlier days, he's got what it takes.
Definitely.
And I think Del Rio is someone who can help him, and Kalisto is someone who can help Del Rio go over again. Because it is something, maybe Del Rio thought he'll continue where he left off, but no. Mm-hmm. He's kind of starting his journey again. He's lucky he's got the United States Championship. He's lucky he's got Zeb Colt. He's got the talent to do it. Mm-hmm. But now he's got to start again and build all that up to be the guy.
He looks more tan now as well.
Yeah, he does. He looks more angry. Understandable.
Someone messed up his tan. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, I would say if Sheamus can become world champion now, then I won't rule Del Rio out.
If the Great Khali can become world champion,
I mean, it's like today's WWE with one championship belt.
If Christian can be your world champion,
yeah, fair enough. That's the worst case scenario, isn't it?
There've been so many terrible world champions.
Yeah, but they didn't give Damien Sandow a chance. Oh, wow.
I mean, at least they didn't make a mistake in that one, so it's okay.
Oh, imagine that.
When he was the Money in the Bank briefcase holder and he lost to Cena on Raw.
So much potential with that.
Why?
I'm not going to go into that because I'll just go off topic and rant about it for an hour. Let's move on. We were talking about tag teams. Just quickly, nothing too long. We're all fans of the New Day. They're doing big things. They're switching up every week. They're fresh. They're relevant, comedic. But is that the New Day being really good, do you think? Or is it the case that they're just the best in a bad bunch? Or both? Or a bit of both?
See, this is the thing. No, I think it's definitely a bit of both. They are so good that they're too good for the tag team division. And that shows that they're in the main events of Raw and they're feuding with people like Cena and people like Reigns at times and people like Dean Ambrose. And they're the go-to heel faction now over the Wyatt family, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah.
And they are tag team champions. And the sad thing is that they are then in a division with people like the Lucha Dragons, like the Ascension, like the money, yeah. I can't think of what they're called.
They're not even there anymore.
the Darren Young and
you were singing Crime Time.
Oh, sorry, because Millions of Dollars. Millions of Dollars. Sorry, that was it. It was all about money.
Yeah,
about money with Darren Young and Tyson O'Neill. That's what it was. And then they're in a tag team. Nice save. And they're just in this tag team division of mediocre stars. Even the Dudley Boys, who have come back, they've been so irrelevant. They've lost 4 times in title matches.
So does that mean the New Day are bad for the tag team division, that they should relinquish the titles and give someone else a chance to
No, not at all. No. Other tag teams should get up to that level.
Can they?
Join them there.
They can't. Who can?
Okay, so the Usos now, I think, could get up to that level.
They're popular. They're not the best of talkers, but
they're charismatic.
Yeah, that's the key thing. They get the crowd pumped up, which is good. Not a lot of times.
You don't need to be the best talkers. This is the thing. When you've got heels as good as the New Day who will talk circles around you, it makes you look like an idiot. So that's why the Dudley Boys look so bad at the moment.
Yeah.
It's because the New Day have been able to talk circles around them and make them look like idiots.
I agree. How do we improve the division then? Because we've got the New Day. The New Day, technically they're carrying the tag team division, but at the same time, they're so good that it's making everyone else look bad, so that drags the division down. So do you push the New Day even more? Or do you take a step back a little bit, make it a bit more even playing field, and then when the New Day drop the titles, you just let the New Day run in together without the championships?
But then This is the thing. You're saying how do you make the tag team division better, but you can't let them drop the titles because that infinitely makes it worse straight away.
Yeah. It's tough, isn't it? Because
it's so tough. You know what I would like to see? I would like to see the New Day destroy every single tag team in this division, one after another, and then after WrestleMania, where they've won a Fatal 4-Way, which they like to do at WrestleMania, so everyone gets a payday. You get a new tag team that come up, and I'm struggling to think of the other guy's name, but I've got 4 words for the first guy, and that's Ready, Willing, and Gable. And his tag team partner,
Jason Jordan.
That's it, JJ.
Fantastic stars.
And they come up and they beat the New Day the day after WrestleMania. And I think that's the way you need to go with it. How you get there from now, I have no idea.
But let me throw another tag team out there. Enzo Amore and Big Cass.
Oh, well, yeah, I completely forgot that they even existed. And that's the problem because they should have... If
imagine that feud.
The Dudley Boys... I reckon that as long as WWE didn't drop the ball and make them not win the tag team titles, they would be more over than the New Day right now.
Really?
It's all about talking. It's all about being able to get in that ring and put a microphone to your face and get that crowd going. And that's what no other tag team can do. And when one tag team can do it and you're going up against the tag team that can't do it, the tag team that can looks so much better, which is why having great talkers would be great to go up against the New Day. I mean, look, who have the New Day feuded with so far?
Dudley Boys.
Dudley Boys, worst talkers in the world. No personality.
Who else have they feuded with?
The millions of dollars.
Yeah, that was...
Prime time. And this is the thing. They need someone on that level to feud with, and that's exactly why you bring in Enzo and Cass.
That would be perfect. I think we discussed that a few episodes ago. That feud itself would be something special based on just verbal skills of both teams.
It's the way they need to go with it.
So would you say since the New Day got over in the fashion that they have, I know fans didn't like them when they first arrived, since that popularity skyrocketed, do you think the tag team division has improved? Or is it just the New Day that's improved?
That's exactly what it is, though, isn't it? The New Day have improved.
Yeah.
Definitely, the New Day have improved.
Would you say...
And that's such a small segment of the tag team division. They're a big part of it, but it's a small segment because there are so many tag teams, and they're just not up to that standard.
So do you think we need your Enzo Amore, Big Cass, Chad Gable, and Jason Jordan on the main roster?
They're the sorts of superstars that I'd like to see competing for the tag team titles.
I think Enzo Amore and Big Cass are the entertainment factor.
Yep.
If they came up, whereas Jason Jordan and Chad Gable are your pure wrestling, your Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas kind of team.
And look, but then I could see them come up and beat the New Day in their first night more than I can see Enzo more. I think Enzo and Big Cass would be better chasing the titles, whereas I think Gable and Jordan would be better holding the titles.
I think that's more of a shock value as well.
Oh, definitely.
Which is key, yeah. Plus, they're not after WrestleMania.
Oh.
WWE have done it for 2 years running now.
But they've never done it with a tag team.
Imagine. It's a change. We had it with a Diva. We had Superstar this year. Well, let's hope it is Chad Gable and Jason Jordan then.
I've got everything crossed.
Oh, just Cesaro is the answer to everything, isn't it? Just Cesaro's in a...
Do you know what? Him and... Even if you just put Tyson Tidd in a suit and a microphone, that's all you need.
The tag team division was good though when Kid and Cesaro were...
Definitely. That's a big shame. Yeah. And I think that would have been a really good feud to have as well. So it is a massive shame.
Let's move on. That's supposed to be quick.
That was supposed to be a really quick... I was thinking that.
Sorry about that.
Apology accepted.
Last week, I was apologising to the fan.
Yeah, no, I apologise.
Last week we saw the Wyatt family taking out both the Undertaker and Kane to a great surprise. Received great reactions as well. Cut a solid promo on Monday Night Raw, which I enjoyed.
No, I fast-forwarded through it.
Really?
Yeah.
Where he talked about taking the Undertaker's soul now.
There's something about electricity.
Now, do you think this feud that started, do you think this is to solely set up a match at Survivor Series, or do you think this story runs a little bit deeper? As in, is there a way for them to ease out Kane and The Undertaker?
But are they going to? Because aren't they supposed to be scheduled for WrestleMania?
They're scheduled for the tour of Europe, which
There
I
you
think is
go.
kicking off. Scheduled for WrestleMania.
There you
Which do you think is better though? For it to have the Survivor Series tag team match, which is 2 weeks remaining until, or
So is it 2 weeks or is it a week?
it could. I think it's 2 weeks. I don't think
Okay.
it could be. Let's just go with 2 weeks. That's a
Okay.
safe distance.
No, I don't. I don't want to. I don't want to see it.
You don't want to see.
I just don't want to see Bray Wyatt. So okay, they're trying to make him relevant by eating the soul of the Undertaker and
Yeah.
Kane.
So basically, he controls them.
That's fine. That's all well and good. But then, what happens when the Undertaker comes back and beats Bray Wyatt?
Yeah, that's what's going to happen, isn't it?
What happens at Survivor Series when the Wyatt family get beaten by the Undertaker, Kane, and their tag team partners? Who do you think it'll be?
Um, I had two names in my mind. Well, three actually. Obviously, Undertaker's one, Kane's the other. You've got. I thought at first Randy Orton, but I don't know where he fits in it.
Oh no, 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. So I
6
think
months.
I'd go with another legend in Sting.
Can he wrestle?
I don't know,
Maybe
but
it's just a tag team match though. Because he wouldn't have to do much.
I think that way I'd have the Wyatt family win.
Oh yeah,
Because
definitely,
if they're gonna put that faith in Strowman, he needs to survive.
definitely.
He has his match with Undertaker, and Bray Wyatt can have his lengthy feud with Sting.
Definitely. That sets up a lot.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, if you're thinking of a fourth opponent, if they're gonna go 4-on-4, I'd like to see them introduce Demon Balor.
Not if he's gonna lose. This is the problem. If you're gonna bring someone up from NXT, then they can't lose because that just completely destroys their momentum. That's the problem. If you bring anyone up from NXT and you put them on the Undertaker's team, they have to win.
Who would you have if not Balor?
The obvious choice is Cesaro, isn't it?
It's just Cesaro.
He's the answer to everything. The obvious choice is Dean Ambrose.
Ah,
Exactly. But if they don't use him here, where are they going to use him? What feud is he in?
Ambrose.
He's not in a feud.
Ambrose has to be there because he was in a Hell in a Cell. He's the most over face in the company, and he could miss 2 pay-per-views in a row.
It could just because they don't know how to book him.
I mean, considering there's nothing else for him, he would be the logical choice to be a partner, and we're used to him losing anyway, so it wouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah, agreed. I wouldn't have a problem with him losing. Although I wouldn't mind seeing someone like Baron Corbin in that position. I know it's Baron Corbin and he's terrible, but I'd like to see him in that position, and then he turns on the Undertaker, Kane, and Sting.
Yeah.
And joins the Wyatt family, and then the Wyatt family have a 5th member. Or even if that is Balor, that would be pretty cool because then we get the Demon Balor as part of the Wyatt family.
Big, all possibilities.
And he could be the not the second in command, but more of the understudy to Bray Wyatt.
Yeah,
even though he's older than Bray Wyatt.
It doesn't seem like it, but
It doesn't seem like it.
there's one question you asked me. Will Bray Wyatt surpass the Undertaker's legacy?
I did ask you this.
Can you answer it for me?
No, I asked you.
I don't. It's just I don't know which angle you look at it from. I like the fact how he went about talking how he consumed their souls, how he controls them. And that's what all the electricity stuff was about. But will he surpass his legacy when he talks a good game, but when it matters, he loses and loses and loses and loses? In that case, he can't. He has the potential to, but it doesn't help that he's lost a lot of matches.
So he's 28 years old, and this was my point, I think. He's 28 years old. Yes, he's not been undefeated at WrestleMania. He's not been in the main event of pay-per-views as regularly as we'd want him to. Yes, he's not been the world champion yet, but he has the potential to be the Undertaker, and this is, I think, what they're trying to do now with him. Yeah. By defeating the previous Hell Gatekeeper, he can be the next big monster heel, and I think this is a really good way to develop him. Yes, he's lost a couple of times. Yes, he's not been perfect in his winning streaks and all this stuff, but he could be the next big monster. and the face of fear, not necessarily this tall, undead-looking person, but more of like a cult leader and a following, which is exactly what they've done with him. But be this creepy, sadistic, genuine heel with his goons behind him. And now, if he went undefeated, no one would remember the first couple of years where he lost.
So, at WrestleMania, what would you have him do? Would you have another match with The Undertaker?
See, no, I would have him against Sting, and I would have him destroy Sting.
Yeah.
But then this is the problem, because then Sting's gone. Do you know what? We always think Sting's gone 0 for 3. Sting faced the Big Show on Raw, and he beat the Big Show.
Oh, okay.
At the moment, Sting is 1-2. That's not a bad record.
Fair enough.
For someone who's only had 3 matches.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
not a bad record.
We'll go with that. 1 and 2.
Sting is 1-2, Rosa. Sting is 1-2.
That's fine.
And to be fair, his 2 losses have been to Triple H and Seth Rollins, who's basically Triple H. Yeah. So he's only ever lost to one person.
Twice. He's lost to one person twice.
No, but it's only ever to one. But you count the numbers. Like, how many times has Sheamus lost to Randy Orton? We don't know. It's more than one, but it's still
fair point. Fair point. What happens to the rest of the Wyatt family then in this feud?
They stay as Bray Wyatt's crew. I think it was the worst decision in the world to break them up at one point, and the fact that they're all back together now with Strowman adds a whole new element to Bray's character, because he needs these people there. It's not even that they need him. He needs these people there. Luke Harper is an amazing singles wrestler who can't get over by himself.
Yeah. It's the gimmick that is, he's too good in his role.
Exactly. The ginger beard dude was
Eric Rowan.
Rowan Strowman. There's 3 of them.
Yeah.
But Roman's not there. Rowan is a very, very good monster who can't get over by himself. Strowman could possibly get over by himself, but it's too early to say. Bray Wyatt, though, needs these 3 people more than they need them. It's true.
So do you think Wyatt, to surpass The Undertaker's legacy, to be taken seriously within the next year, needs to win the big one?
He needs to defeat The Undertaker, yes. He needs to be the one that buries The Undertaker's career and legacy and eats his soul. And then that way you can make The Undertaker into this humanized character again, and he can do interviews, and he can do he can appear at the night prior to WrestleMania. Hall of Fame, there it is. Thank you, wrestler. See, you complete me. He can appear at these places and not be the Undertaker character anymore. He can just be The Undertaker.
The man.
Yeah, exactly. The man. I would like to see him come out as the biker again while he's feuding with Bray Wyatt, because I think that would be pretty cool to say, well, look, you ate my soul, but this is me. This is the person. Is
that a possibility? I know a lot of people don't like the American Badass, but it is a good way to ease him out of the Phenom role.
And that's what it is. I think that would be maybe the best way to move him forward as a character. Go back to the American Badass.
It's genuinely upsetting to think about it, though, once you think like how much you've seen of The Undertaker.
Yeah.
And now it's at the closing stages, and Bray Wyatt could be that man to put an end to someone who's been in the business for 25 years.
But then, Reza, he's been on the closing stages since the matches with Shawn Michaels, I'd say, at WrestleMania, and that was, 5-6 years ago?
But the thing with that is, Michaels was already on the way out as well, whereas Wyatt's going to have a lengthy career with the pressure of being the one who finished The Undertaker.
Yeah, but who else would you give it to?
No, I've not got a problem with that.
Oh, no, cool.
My
Sorry,
problem
I was ready for an argument.
No, my problem is with would be with the booking team, right? You've finished this man off, who's been one of the greatest of all time. The key thing is you don't mess Bray Wyatt up after that. And that's...
Okay, so he lost to The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and he lost to John Cena the year before, but has he really been booked badly? From a heel perspective, has Bray Wyatt been booked badly?
I don't think he's been booked badly. What they're doing with him is they're using him to get people over, like Roman Reigns.
That's good.
I know that's good.
As a heel, he can't be affected by it.
Which is good. He's fortunate enough to have so much talent to get over in his gimmick, even as a heel, where he can succeed. And I think, and I hope, that he does succeed as the man who finishes off The Undertaker. I think everyone's got the faith in him. Book him correctly, and you'll be fine. And he can be that face of fear that you said, who does surpass the legacy of The Undertaker, which I think they do want to do. They obviously finished the streak for a reason, make Lesnar look strong. They're going to finish The Undertaker completely for a reason, and that's because you need to look at the future. And whether people like it or not, Bray Wyatt is that man. And I'm glad that you wouldn't want anyone else to do it.
Yep, agreed.
Okay then. Let us know what you think. Will Bray
okay.
Wyatt...
Well, what I think... No,
No,
I see what you did there.
Let us know what you think about Bray Wyatt. Can he surpass The Undertaker's legacy? Big task. If you don't think he's up for it, let us know who else you think can.
Maybe Cesaro?
Maybe. Cesaro could come up next, I think. In the main event this week, we're talking about Kevin Owens.
You lied to me.
Let's be patient. A lot of hype upon his arrival. He targeted Cena on his first night, which is huge for anyone. Went on to defeat him clean in the middle of the ring, but obviously he lost a bit of steam after that feud. Although he is the Intercontinental Champion. So
he didn't lose any steam. He didn't lose any steam.
I think he lost a bit.
But then that's like saying you went from 1,000 miles an hour to 900. That was a really bad example. You went from 100 miles an hour to 99 miles an hour because obviously John Cena is the pinnacle of the business. Anyone you feud with after that is gonna look mediocre. That's the thing.
How would you describe his feud with Ryback then? Jumping.
Okay. Well. All right. Sorry. Well played.
Jump from Cena to Ryback.
It was the only way of getting him the Intercontinental Championship.
You had to do it.
He would have been feuding with Daniel Bryan. Don't forget if Ryback was if Bryan hadn't got injured.
Interesting you said that because what I want to discuss is, well, we know how special Kevin Owens is. He's a natural heel.
Rosa, did you see him on Raw? Did you see him when he was shouting at Seth? Just hit him. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just do it, Seth. And Seth kept taunting Dean Ambrose, and eventually, he's just a genius.
Yeah, I remember when he was holding Rusev trying to lose some weight. For Kevin Owens to say that, it's just. He's gifted. That's what we know. He has a gift, and he's
and there was that night on SmackDown as well where he's there and he goes, "Go Russia!" when he tagged Rusev in, and then I think it was Summer Rae came up to him and said something to him, and he goes, "Go Bulgaria!" It's just genius, absolute genius.
Exactly. He's very good at what he does. The WWE they shouldn't drop the ball on him. What they need to do,
they're not going to.
I know they're not going to, but they need to do something which makes him a very good Intercontinental Champion, which means he needs to be in good feuds. So what we need to discuss is which opponents / feuds would help bring out the best version of Kevin Owens as the Intercontinental Champion. As usual, we always finish off in this fashion, throw some names out to each other. You feel free to do the same. Let me know whether you think they would be good feuds for Kevin Owens. Not just good, but talk about good ways to get the best out of him in general, as a heel, not as a face. Mm-hmm. As you said first, if Daniel Bryan was a champion. If Daniel Bryan came back now and wanted to go challenge Owens because he never lost the title, technically, would that be good for Owens?
It would be good for Owens. I don't know if it'd be good for Daniel Bryan because I think the fans would want him in a bigger profile feud. I would rather put him... Okay, so I think the Daniel Bryan thing, I think that's something you could do at a bigger pay-per-view. There are three names that I was thinking, and sorry to move away from Daniel Bryan so quickly.
Let's hope they're not the same as mine, because then that just ends the...
Really? Do you know what? We'll go over Daniel Bryan first, and then we'll go over the remaining names. Okay, so Daniel Bryan coming back. If he comes back, there is only one person that has to win that feud, and that's Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And that literally could be the way to maybe take out Bryan for another couple of months if he needs a bit more time off or anything like that. Yeah. Show his sadistic side. Show that I don't care if you've been away for so many months with an injury. I'm still going to powerbomb you into the side of the ring several times. And that could get him over massively as a heel.
I agree.
Massively as a heel.
That's probably the biggest opponent to go up against because there's an emotional attachment with the fans and Bryan.
Definitely.
And we laugh at what Kevin Owens' antics, but because people love Bryan so much, they'd have to genuinely boo Owens.
And they'd genuinely get concerned for him as well, because that powerbomb into the ring looks really, really sadistic. Into the side of the ring, into the apron, looks absolutely... It looks like it could destroy a man. And
especially on Bryan.
Especially on Bryan. Mm. To be fair, I don't actually know how safe it is. It may actually destroy him.
I think they probably have to clear it with the other guy. Do you want to get hit with the powerbomb?
Daniel Bryan is never going to say no.
Exactly. So we agree Bryan would be one of the perfect opponents for Kevin Owens. As in, we're talking about beneficial for Owens. It could benefit Bryan in some way.
That's fair enough.
Or the other names we're going to mention. It might benefit them, but we're focusing on Kevin Owens. Do you want to bring up the second name? Because I've got a feeling one of ours is guaranteed to be the same.
Is it Cesaro?
No, it's not. I didn't have Cesaro. I've got 3 names.
Okay. So that wasn't actually my name.
Okay.
This is a really difficult one because you go, and I'll tell you if I've got that name.
I'll just go with the safe option with what you have, and that's Sami Zayn.
Yes. So that was obviously going to be the case. But then, for me, that's a WrestleMania feud.
Yeah, I agree. That can happen because you've got a month or two to build Kevin Owens up towards the Royal Rumble. For me, the way I looked at it, because this is a good story, you have Owens be the dominant guy in the Royal Rumble this year.
Yes.
Taking out people, looking like he's going to win, and between numbers 26 to 30, you have Sami Zayn make his return, and he takes
Let's go!
Yeah, he takes out... Is this the new one we're going with now? Oh, are you done?
Let's go! Okay.
Yeah, and you have Sami Zayn make his return, and he stops Kevin Owens from going all the way.
Yep.
Before Sami gets eliminated, and whoever wins the Royal Rumble wins it. Kevin Owens is the Intercontinental Champion. Sami Zayn wants revenge, not only for the story they're going with is Kevin Owens injured him, he wants revenge on him. He'd like to become the champion, and you have like a ladder match at the biggest WrestleMania ever, where 2 of Indies' biggest stars have a WrestleMania moment.
But then for a WWE Championship,
yeah, exactly. How
for the
far have they come?
Title.
Yeah.
But then I guess the only way to go with that is that Sami Zayn wins, and that's not the wrong way to go. But I think until then, you need to have Kevin Owens in high profile feuds.
Yeah.
I would put him in with. This is the problem because if he wasn't injured, then this would be my first name, and that would be Randy Orton.
That's good for the Intercontinental Championship as well.
It'd be great for the Intercontinental Championship. It'd be great for Kevin Owens because he not only has he defeated John Cena once, he'll also beat Randy Orton, one of the other poster boys for the WWE. It gives Orton something to do that's fresh as well. He's going up against an opponent that will psychologically destroy him as well.
Yeah.
Not just in the ring, but on the microphone. It'll bring his game up, and I think that's what Owens can do to a lot of people. But I think it'd be really, really good for someone like Randy Orton. But it's a shame he's injured.
That could be a good feud because as sadistic as Orton is, Owens is probably someone who'd want to go a little bit further and try and beat him, which is good. So what do we have? We have Bryan, we have Sami Zayn, we have Orton.
Yeah, Orton maybe not as much because he's not there, but yeah.
But that's good as well because if he's becoming this part-time superstar, Owens taking him out is good to do. But he's injured anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
He already has taken him out.
I don't know. I've got 2 names left, and I don't know who to go with. I'm going to go with the safer option first. I'm going to say because he's not doing anything.
Oh yeah, Dean Ambrose.
Yeah. I think he's in a similar boat to Daniel Bryan in the terms that there's an emotional attachment with him.
Yeah.
Because he's such a strong face that fans love whatever he does. He's unhinged. He puts his body on the line. Kevin Owens puts his body on the line. It'll be a reckless match. It'll be a reckless feud.
But then who would you want to win that? And I know we're only going off who would benefit Kevin Owens, but you have to admit it probably wouldn't benefit Dean Ambrose if he lost.
It wouldn't. But at the same time, we want to see Ambrose in the World Championship matches. But for me, the thing is, I'd rather have him in the Intercontinental Championship feud than not appearing in 2 pay-per-views in a row. That's the angle I was looking at it from. He could help Owens go over as well because fans love him so much, which means they'd hate Owens.
Yeah.
It's difficult because Ambrose deserves more. Kevin Owens will one day deserve more as well. But I think...
But at least Kevin Owens is your Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
Whereas Dean Ambrose didn't even appear on the last pay-per-view.
Exactly.
And he's like the third wheel in the feud between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins right now.
So who's your next pick?
Well, Rissa.
I've got 1 left.
That was my, that's the problem. I would have said if he wasn't in a feud at the moment with Tyler Breeze, I think the best person to get Kevin Owens over would be Dolph Ziggler. They would have great matches. The crowd absolutely loves Ziggler. And he can lose every single week and it won't make a difference. And it would genuinely make Kevin Owens look so strong.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's fine. I'm just not the biggest Ziggler fan at the minute.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So I'm sorry I can't.
It's all good.
Mine is a very risky pick, which I know people won't like. But one of the reasons...
Superstar?
Pardon?
Is it an NXT superstar?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
It's a WWE superstar. It's someone who fans don't like because he's been fast-tracked to the championship.
Oh.
So maybe he should move down and build himself up to be a contender, Roman Reigns.
No, but then he has to win, Rizza.
I don't know. Not now, as you just said, it could be a WrestleMania thing. It's like, I know a lot of people who have problem with Reigns because he came in, he is not as talented as Ambrose, he's not as talented as Rollins, and he's being pushed towards that championship. It did look like he was going to be the champion before Rollins, until he cashed in, obviously. And I know fans would like to see Reigns start from the bottom almost, where he puts in the hard work, he gets a mid-card championship, he runs with that, he improves his wrestling, and then he makes the push where fans could be on his side. But the only problem with that, as I said, I have is fans will probably still boo Roman Reigns because they love Kevin Owens as a heel.
Yeah.
But I do think victories over Reigns would be beneficial for him on pay-per-views, but not obviously something like WrestleMania. But yeah, I'd like to see something because they're two complete opposites, aren't they? Reigns is this good-looking guy's going to be face of your company, and Kevin Owens is someone who people think is out of shape to even be a wrestler, but he's doing big things.
He's doing huge
Yeah,
things.
exactly. So I think mixing them up two together would be pretty special.
I'd like to see it on one side, but only if Kevin Owens gets that rub, and the WWE won't give him that.
Exactly.
When he's up against, like you said, the poster child for the future of the company.
There's too much investment in Reigns to let him lose.
Definitely.
But yeah, if we can come up with one agreement before we finish off, who we think would be the best. I think I'm ready to get rid of Reigns. I don't think he'd be the right.
Should we get rid of him there? I think I'm happy to get rid of. I'm happy to get rid of Dolph Ziggler.
Okay.
But only because I think there are better potential options there.
Yeah.
Then we've got Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, and Randy Orton. Well, I guess we can get rid of Randy Orton as well.
Well, there's one more name we forgot. That's Mr. Sami Zayn.
Oh, well then it.
For me, it'll come down to Bryan or Sami Zayn.
I would agree with that. Let's get rid of Dean Ambrose as well. I think Dean Ambrose deserves better, and that's nothing against Kevin Owens. It's more just Dean Ambrose deserves to be in the main event, whereas Kevin Owens can wait. It can wait for Kevin Owens.
I don't know which way to go about this. So much support for both men. Good stories to tell.
I think this is the thing, though. What about Daniel Bryan now, Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, and he wins?
I'll take that. Because then Owens is taken more seriously when he's taken out Bryan.
Exactly.
Well, we'll come up with two names. There we have it.
And then look, and the crowd is still going to cheer.
Exactly.
They're still going to cheer.
Let us know who you think Kevin Owens could or should feud with.
It's like we agreed on something.
I know, that's 2 weeks in a row. I'm sure we will.
No, it's
two
not.
Episodes. We just finished. Yeah, we just disagree. Okay. That's all we have time for today. Episode 50. We hope you enjoyed listening to our discussions. If you did, please give us a like, download, a play, even a recommendation to your friends that follow the WWE. Thanks to you, Ari, for joining me on episode 50.
Welcome.
As always, I've had a lot of fun. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners before we head off?
Don't eat yellow snow.
Don't eat yellow snow. That's life-changing
Or
advice.
or you can eat it
if you want. It's optional.
I mean, we recommend not to, though. I think that's...
Yeah. I don't like yellow snow.
I don't know what yellow snow is anymore.
Anyway, on that note, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with hopefully Imran and hopefully more discussion topics to go through and another episode. So please tune in next Wednesday and have a good week.